For today's review, we have a very interesting take on the Metroidvania with the retro modern future Idosra the Electric Renaissance. In the game, it is the far distant post-apocalyptic future, and electricity is finally coming back. But when an evil empire has nefarious plans forward, we're going to fight, jump, and learn our way to uncover the mystery. The game's entire aesthetics are built around kind of like late 80s, early 90s like DOS style platforming, and it does have a very interesting look to it. Now, the twist of our gameplay is this is a somewhat of a stage-based Metroidvania. How it works is that the overall story will take you to various levels. Within each level, you are going to be awarded experience points based on your overall score. You gain score from beating enemies, collecting kind of bonus MacGuffins, and solving the various secrets and other hidden stuff. With this experience, whenever you find a book, and apparently there's a lot of books in the post-apocalypse, you can read it to unlock something new. This can be anything from new skills, quality of life features, mechanics, and etc. Now, I don't know if you read a book to unlock double jumping at some point in the game. The more you unlock, you'll raise your kind of wisdom level, which will allow you to then unlock more stuff. And the general progression is going to be based on you finding more books, to gain more knowledge, to upgrade your abilities. And it's a very interesting hook. Some of the levels you can play through once and get everything, while the majority of them you will have to return with a necessary item or upgrade that will come later down the line. The stages all have different kind of situations in them. There's only a few boss levels, a few, Metroidvania or just Metroid escapes, as well as bonus levels, races, and more. And it's a very great concept for a Metroidvania. However, there are some very noticeable issues when it comes to the general playability and technical side of the game. The footage that you're seeing is going to be played with the 1.0 version. At the time of me recording this, the developer has released a kind of their first major patch, which I don't know if it did catch or if it did hit any of the issues we're going to talk about. So the first one is that the platforming and general movement are a bit janky in some very noticeable places. In the game, you do not just automatically run and jump. You have to build kind of slight momentum to reach full speed. When you're standing still or when you're moving will greatly affect the trajectory of your jump. When you're standing still, you'll jump kind of more vertically, like if we talk about Out of This World or Flashback. When you're moving and jump, you'll kind of do like a burst forward jump, almost kind of like a Hail Mary leap. So when you're doing either standing jumps or jumping as far as you can, it's not that bad. But when the game wants you to do kind of cutting your jump in the middle of it or jumping very smaller distances, it's noticeably harder to make these leaps. Because when you kind of walk or run and jump, you're going to shoot yourself forward, which means you have to almost immediately cut or you're going to overjump it. But of course, if you do it too quickly, you'll just undercut it, lose all momentum and velocity, and you'll fall into the pit that way. And the game sets up for quite a few of these. You do unlock the ability to grab and hold edges, but I found it to be very inconsistent. This is one of those games where you can kind of jump, reach the edge, but your character instead kind of falls into the middle of the platform, misses the hitbox for the ledge, and then, once again, you fall. When you're doing basic jumping, it's not that bad, but there's a lot of sections that require some more trickier jumps that it is so easy to fail because of that. Now, the camera is also not on your side. The game does both kind of individual screens where the entire room is a single screen, and then parts where you'll kind of run and the screen or the camera will shift to the next part of things. Here's the problem. Enemies that are on the other screen or not on screen still react to you. So you can have this situation where you'll walk the screen will transition, there are enemies and turns that they'll shoot and fire, knock you back to the previous screen, and then they just keep automatically firing, and there's no way to cross a threshold to be able to aim at them while they're still just knocking you back. And this happened very often in the game. In many cases, it came down to, can I get that hit before they start firing, or am I screwed? And the controls themselves also don't help you in this respect. You do unlock some advanced maneuvers, like being able to do like a little roll and a jump kick, but I also found it to be a bit inconsistent with how you're moving around. And speaking of inconsistent, there is a very noticeable bug that kind of screwed me up quite a lot. You see, the game has an issue when it comes to determining whether you're pushing the left or right analog stick on your controller. The right analog stick is supposed to be used for looking, beyond your screen, so you're trying to search for pits or see enemies ahead of you. The problem is if you do it too quickly or you're kind of hitting it too much, the game apparently thinks the right analog stick is your left, and then your character starts automatically running, which is not good if you're on a tiny platform and you're trying to scope things out, and she just runs right off the ledge and kills herself. And then it kept reading the right analog even upon load, so I just kept loading, run off ledge, die. Loading, run up ledge, and die. And again, a very annoying issue to say the least. And from like a story point of view, the game makes use heavily of event triggers in order to unlock the next mission or the next dialogue. I did get lost a few times just trying to remember, okay, who was I supposed to talk to activate the next level? And I think just maybe either just having it like on the map or just say, go here to move the story along would have just smoothed things over just a little bit. More of a nitpick than I would say like an actual serious problem, at least compared to the other stuff we've talked about. Ultimately with this game, I feel like there is a lot of charm here. It is certainly not going to be the most polished or refined Metroidvania you're going to play for 2025, but it's a very solid concept that I really do want to see kind of like developed further, or see like more from this universe and this style. So if you're not exactly opposed to finding some annoying bugs or dealing with a little bit of jankiness with your jumping in Metroidvania, I would give this game a try. And maybe we'll see more from this post-apocalyptic future at some point. But Idosra was played with a retail key. When we tickle your game for a future stream and review, be sure to get in touch. If you are one of the few people who also played this one, I'm curious what you thought of it. And if there's any other kind of Metroidvanias in this style, like a stage base, be sure to let me know. And with that, thanks for tuning in, and see everyone for another review and more game design talks coming real soon. Thanks for watching, and a special thank you to our Patreon supporters. If you enjoyed the video, do the YouTubing stuff, be sure to visit our Discord and Patreon, and if you're interested in more of my thoughts on design, check out my game design books.